We are live.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to the council meeting of Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. We'll start off with the land acknowledgement, but before we begin, I just want to do a couple house cleaning items. Everyone in chamber, please turn your cell phones off. And when anyone comes to the podium to speak, could you please adjust the mic so you're speaking clearly into the end of it, as this meeting is being live streamed and recorded for those who have not been able to attend in person. The Township of Oro-Medonte acknowledges that we are situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe people and in ancestral territory of the Huron-Wendat. The Anishinaabe include the Odawa, the Ojibwe, the Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. It continues today as the home for diverse Indigenous people, including the historic Métis community in Penetang-Washeen. The Anishinaabe people continue to have an enduring relationship with this land, specifically the Chippewas of Rama First Nations, the Chippewa Tri-Council, and the Williams Treaties First Nations. The Huron-Wendat Nations also continues to pay respect and protect their ancestors and heritage on this land. We honor the Indigenous history and culture that has thrived for millennia in this territory and the treaties that bind us together as partners in the spirit of a shared, sustainable, and prosperous future. We are all treaty people. Our commitment begins with acknowledging the truth so that we can move forward towards reconciliation. I'd also like to take this time to acknowledge that September 30th marks the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. This day honors children who never returned home and survivors of residential schools, as well as their families and communities. Our commemoration of the tragic and painful history and ongoing impacts of residential schools is a vital component of reconciliation, of the reconciliation process. The township offices will be closed on Monday, September 30th in recognition of this day of trust and reconciliation. Madam Clerk, may we have a motion to adopt the agenda, please?
Moved by Shell, seconded by Lavoie. Be it resolved that the agenda for the council meeting of Wednesday, September 25th, 2024 be received and adopted.
All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Members, are there any pecuniary interest to be disclosed at this time? Seeing none. Closed session item will be dealt with under item 19 today. May we have a draft motion for the two sets of minutes, Madam Clerk?
Moved by Young, seconded by Clark. Be it resolved that the minutes of Special Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee held on Thursday, September the 5th, 2024 be received, and that the draft minutes of the council meeting held on Wednesday, September the 11th, 2024 be received and adopted as printed and circulated.
Are there any amendments to the draft minutes by any members of council? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried, Madam Clerk. Recognition of achievements, there are none. We have no public meetings and we have no deputations or presentations. Is there any items on the agenda that anyone needs to have moved forward because they can't stay for the entire meeting? Seeing none, then this brings us to open forum. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone registered to speak in open forum?
If I could just have a minute, Mr. Oops. Oops. No, Mr. Mayor, we do not have any registrations.
Is there anybody in chamber who would like to speak to any items on the agenda today? Seeing none. Okay, so we'll move on to item 11A, reports of municipal officers for action. May we have a draft motion for item 11A, Madam Clerk?
Moved by Lavoie, seconded by Hutchison. Be it resolved that OCS 2024-30, Mark Puchtik, Technical Supervisor Operations award of RFQ OCS 2023-09-1, 1 year extension of 2024-2025 supply, delivery, mixing, and stacking of screen winter sand be received and adopted. That RFQ contract OCS 2023-09 supply, delivery, mixing, and stacking of screened winter sand awarded to Duvenhover Haulage be extended for the 2024-2025 winter season, commencing October 15th, 2024, for the unit pricing as follows. Small Crescent, $14.75 a ton plus HST. South Pit, $13.25 a ton plus HST. North Pit, $15.25 a ton per HST. North Yard, $15.60 a ton plus HST. That the township continue to participate with the Georgian Bay Purchasing Cooperative for the purchase of bulk highway road sand at a rate of $68.98 per ton, and bulk highway treated salt at a rate of $97.63 per ton for the 2024 and 2025 winter season. That the manager of operations be authorized to execute the appropriate agreements on behalf of the township.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Council, I'll now open the floor for discussion. Any questions regarding this matter? Seeing none. Any comments in respect to the draft motion? Okay, then we'll call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, that is passed. And may we have the draft motion for item 11B, please?
Moved by Bard, seconded by Shell. Be it resolved that the memorandum correspondence dated September 25th, 2024, from Brent Spagnol, Director of Development Services, re bylaw 2024-98, cannabis production and processing facilities, medical saints be received. That bylaw 2024-098, per the Ontario Land Tribunal Order OLT 22-002249 be brought forward under item 11 or 18A.
Okay. Members of council, the floor is open for discussion. Are there any questions or comments regarding this matter? Director, oh, sorry. Oh, no. Okay. Actually, Director Spagnol, I didn't know if you want to, but if you want to ask your question first, Deputy Mayor.
Just a comment.
Okay. Would you like to give your comment now?
I'll wait till later.
Okay. Mr. Spagnol, would you like to speak briefly to this, please?
Thank you, Mayor Greenlaw. This is the final step in the implementation of the settlement that was achieved for the Medical Saints property related to the cannabis bylaw. It is an administrative measure just to assign a bylaw number and exception number to the bylaws, so that for future reference and purposes it can be consolidated into the township's zoning bylaw. This process is administrative, and it does not have any bearing on the content or spirit of the settlement or the parameters of the zoning bylaw that was approved by the Ontario Land Tribunal.
Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor Lavoie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you very much to Mr. Spagnol for his comments. I just wanted to say also thanks to staff, to members of the public, and to my colleagues on council for undertaking this negotiations and coming to a negotiated settlement and avoiding another costly litigation in court before the OLT, where we've noticed from time to time that the results are not necessarily predictable. In any case, I think we've come to a very good agreement that provides as much protection as possible for the residents and may not have otherwise resulted in as much protections as this current agreement reaches. So once again, thanks to everyone for the hard work in coming to this arrangement.
Thank you very much for your comments, Deputy Mayor. I echo the same, and I think everyone put a tremendous amount of work, including the planning department and the members of the OMCCC. And I applaud them for, nobody got exactly what they wanted, but we came to an amicable solution, which is, I'm truly believable that it'll be sustainable as well. Okay, so any other comments in regard to this matter? If not, then I'll call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Madam Clerk, may we have a draft motion for item 11C, please?
Moved by Clark, seconded by Young. Be it resolved that CS 2024-019, Yvonne Aubuchon Clerk re-proposed land inventory project be received and adopted, that Council approve the continuation of the land inventory project as outlined in CS 2024-019, and that staff proceed as outlined in CS 2024-019.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Clerk. I'll open the floor for discussions and comments at this time. Would anyone like to make a comment regarding this? Deputy Mayor Lavoie?
Yeah, I just, the matter came up some time ago, I believe, in regard to the land holdings that the township does have. And I think it would be important for council at least to understand from an assets perspective what lands we do have and where they're located, so that in principle members of council can put their minds to the usefulness of those lands, their proximity to various settlement areas, and the other applications that might be put to with regard to agricultural use. So I'd like to have some discussion at least around perhaps getting an accurate map first and foremost that could be put before council in order that we could understand what it is that we own. And so I put that question to the floor, and perhaps to staff, just to identify how difficult or how lengthy a process it might be just initially to have a map, and split that those holdings up into what might be regarded as the sorts of municipal lands that are not land parcels. In other words, they might be drainage easements, or they might be road easements that don't have parcel designations, or whereas we do have lands such as the lands behind the community center that do have parcel designations and do have perhaps municipal addresses, or numbers for taxation purposes, roll numbers. So anyway, if other members of the council wish to comment on that, please.
Councillor Young?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I thought that was requested some time ago, Deputy Mayor. Remember you suggesting or requesting it during a meeting. Is it now that you're formally requesting a report be done?
And I think staff would be happy to answer this as well. I think that it has always been their plan to create this inventory on a when available or when permitted basis. And given the volume of work I think that we've had previously, this is the time in which they would get to it. And I think in that earlier discussion, it was mentioned that it would be this fall. So the clerk has raised it as a matter for this agenda at the time. And please, Madam Clerk, if you wish to add anything.
Yes, so this project has been on the books for quite some time. I think even prior to my tenure here, with respect to then the pandemic occurred. So we had some partial work done at that time, but with pandemic, staff shortages, and also with the 2022 election, things got delayed. So the report is before you now, but if I'm understanding correctly, Deputy Mayor, you are maybe looking to change the steps and have a map come before you before the actual vetting and drilling down on the lands. So something that's a more simplistic, however, in some cases, determining if it's a buildable lot would require the task force. as well. So there may be some areas where we can take parcels and provide a map right off the top and confirm and ground truth those parcels, but in other cases, we may have to vet them through title search and that sort of thing.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if there's a possibility, if it's just a question of instructions from council, so to speak, and no change to the motion, or if a friendly amendment with regard to expediting the mapping would be helpful. So I leave that to yours for a suggestion from clerical staff.
A friendly amendment is fine, if council's okay with that. Good.
Council,
Okay.
yeah, I think where the deputy mayor is going is taking. I understand along the lakefront there's lands we have to retain in order for drainage, to help drainage get to the lake in order to prevent flooding. But I think there was a number of properties that we know that will not be used for that and may not have any purpose for the township, that you know, from a liability standpoint, we should be divesting of in order to. And I know there was a lot of land identified through the Parks and Rec Master Plan. So I guess what we're looking to is just trying to, the deputy mayor's looking for is just to find a consensus of kind of what amount of land and where it is we're looking at, and then we can prioritize it from there, possibly. Okay, so do you need to friendly amend that and reread it, or do you just want to, how would you like to handle this matter?
We'll just take it as direction.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're fine with that, Deputy Mayor?
I am indeed. Thank you very much.
Good, thank you. So, did I call the vote on that one or no? No. Okay, so all in favor? Opposed? That is carried, Madam Clerk. Okay, so this brings us 12 reports of municipal officers for information only. May we have a motion, please, for item 12A?
Moved by Hutchison, seconded by Bard. Be it resolved that the report, as listed under item number 12, reports of municipal officers for information only, be received.
All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. So we're now at item 13A. Are there any updates from members of council as township representatives with our partners and agencies? Councillor Bard.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to congratulate Megan Wilkinson as the new CEO of the Aurelia Public Library. That was just awarded to her this week. She had been the interim CEO with the retirement of the previous CEO. So very happy to have her aboard.
Okay. Councillor Schell.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the public, two announcements from Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority and one from the Aurelia practitioners meetings. No, I missed a very important meeting this morning with Nottawasaga Valley. Unfortunately, it was they're announcing the Midhurst landowners group and Napoleon through the Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority to do some restoring of the Willow Creek in the township of Oro-Medonte. And I apologize for missing that, but if you want to look that up on their website, you please do. They're getting grants from the Ontario government, Midhurst Landowners Group, not Napoleon as well. So they're wanting to stabilize the stream bank and control the phosphorus, as well as controlling floodplain wetlands. On another note from Nottawasaga Valley, they want to let everybody know the historic Fort Willow Conservation Area comes to life on October the 5th, 2024, the Utopia. It's on their website, all the information. Visitors can make candles and watch a blacksmith work metal, witness a military fire line, chat with voyageurs, experience firsthand how sailors worked on ships and muster up and march in the King's Army and more. That's at Willow Creek Conservation Area. And moving on to the Aurelia recruitment, medical recruitment, OMA, Ontario Medical Association had a conference in Ottawa in September 5th, and a letter was written to them on behalf of Ontario doctors. I want to extend my sincere gratitude to you for taking the time to meet with us during the Association of Municipalities of Ontario conference in Ottawa. It was a pleasure to engage in meaningful discussions about the challenges and opportunities facing our healthcare system, especially in the context of our community's unique needs. Your insights and perspectives are invaluable as we continue to advocate for solutions that enhance access to healthcare and improve patient outcomes across Ontario. We greatly appreciate your openness to collaboration and your commitment to supporting the health and well-being of your residents. Our dialogue reinforced the importance of working closely with municipal leaders to address critical issues, from recruiting and retaining healthcare professionals to ensuring equitable access to healthcare services in both urban and rural areas. The situation facing many municipalities across Ontario is dire, with all of you competing for limited medical talent. One municipality even described attending a speed dating event in London, England, where bidding wars broke out to attract doctors. The current environment is unsustainable, a race to the bottom that everyone is forced to play. We heard clearly from many of you about the need for support in bringing internationally trained doctors into practice. For example, one town shared how, due to the convoluted pathway to licensure, 2 internationally trained doctors initially drawn to their town chose to practice in northern BC and Alberta instead. So the challenges you face are not isolated. You could throw a dart at a map of Ontario, and wherever it lands, there will be towns dealing with similar issues, aging populations requiring more complex care, a shortage of doctors, limited resources to compete in the bidding war for the talent, and physicians nearing retirement with large rosters of patients in the situation is real, and it is in a crisis. Every municipality we met with expressed a strong desire to work more closely with us, and we are eager to explore opportunities for collaboration to address these pressing issues over the next several weeks. Please stay tuned for communication from our government relations and advocacy team. That was signed by Kimberly Moran, Chief Executive Officer for Ontario Medical Association. Thank you for sharing it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Schell.
You're welcome.
Any other? Deputy Mayor Lavoie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me, I have a couple myself. This is primarily from the County of Simcoe Council meeting yesterday. First of all, there's drastic changes in the planning profession with regard to the province's issuance of the provincial planning statement, which comes into effect on October 20th. It involves replacing the provincial policy statement as opposed to the provincial planning statement, not to be confused with. And it also replaces the growth plan. The vision, of course, is to build more homes, but it will affect the county and township planning relationship. It will involve relaxed controls around settlement areas and their expansion. It's not currently clear on how new settlement areas might be established. It will affect official plans not currently approved and will require amendments to those official plans whose policies are not in alignment with the new provincial planning statement. It identifies 29 fast-growing municipalities, none of which are in Simcoe County. Growth targets have been removed. It will use growth forecasts published by the Ministry of Finance, and the county becomes the service manager for affordable home housing, including that within Barrie and Orillia. There will be many impacts and much to digest. The county and the townships will be working hand in hand to assimilate the new planning statement into our development services and planning practices. So stay tuned there. There is a very important announcement with regard to medical priority dispatch system. This is for ambulance service. It takes place on November 13th, 2024. It's a groundbreaking change in response to medical 911 calls, which will be based on medical urgency. So there are 5 acuity or urgency classes, if you will. Purple, which involves things such as cardiac arrest. Red, which involves things like seizure, breathing, and chest pain. Orange, which involves abdominal pain, post-seizure, and non-life-threatening bleeding. Yellow, which involves falls, mental health, and minor trauma. And green, involving fainting, sickness, and minor burns. This will reduce the lights and sirens calls by 37%. So the response where lights and sirens will be used will drop to 73% of the current level. It'll mean that ambulances may be directed en route because they might get a higher acuity call that they are closer to. It will mean more questions for 911 calls in order to triage the acuity. So if you do make a 911 call, you will be asked far more questions. It'll mean better service for life-threatening circumstances and lower the on-road risks opposed by lights and sirens calls. With regard to the county budget, the county is proposing a tax levy of 2% to support the provincially mandated asset management plan. Now, the county ended up about $90 million short, or 10% of their budget based on the asset management plan. So there will be effects here in this township and on all the other townships. They are proposing a further 1.5% to 2.5% for general revenue. I would like to point out that the non-residential building construction price index, or inflation, has risen 16% over the last couple of years. As a result of this, a much higher tax levy increase. This is much higher than the normal tax levy increase and has pushed many projects into the red. The county is forecasting a slight deficit, which is the first time in recent years. And I would encourage residents to review the county council agenda of September 24th and read the high-level draft budget assumptions. And that's it for me for now. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you very much. Very informative. Just to add some comments in regards to the provincial policy statement change to the provincial planning statement that will be engaged on the 30th. The one comment that the Director of Planning brought up at county was that employment lands would be restricted to a 300-meter setback from residential zones and or non-compliant uses. So it would be interesting, and our question back to them to look into was, is that the same to employment lands setbacks to environmentally protected or wetlands? Because in regards to our ongoing discussions with the city of Barrie, that would significantly drop the usable land along our border. So, you know, things like that, as I said, the policies right now are very fluid, and until we have a firm understanding of exactly what they're articulating, it's an interesting journey. We'll leave it at that. So, and then we will likely come out at the next meeting. I'll just quickly update. The deputy, myself, and George Vandeboncourt did have a meeting with the MMH in Toronto last week, but I think it would be best that we bring it out in a report to council at our next meeting. I can say at this time, they were very understanding and receptive to the meeting, and I think we came off in a very good light. And although we didn't solidify a solution to what the matter was we were addressing, we're determined that collectively we can get to a solution. So I'll leave it at that, and we'll wait for a report to come out at the next council meeting. Anybody else have anything to add at this time? Okay, so we'll move on to, because we basically do this every time. Is there any announcements? Because I know a lot of it we cover off previously, but Deputy Mayor Lavoie.
Yes, once again. Madam Clerk, would this be the appropriate time for verbal matters?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, you can bring forward.
Okay, I just want to indicate to the public and to council that at the next council meeting, I will be bringing forth a motion for discussion to attribute the entirety of the Zone 1 legal fees to the Zone 1 water integration project. Currently, as I understand it, and to this date, those legal fees amount to $316,000. So thank you very much. That'll be coming forth at the next meeting.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anyone else at this time? One thing I do want to announce, so everyone's aware of, this Saturday, the Rugby Hall will be having their fall barbecue at the Rugby Hall. So it starts at 11, I believe it goes till 2 p.m. Great event to come out and have some food and drinks and good camaraderie. So come out and support it. Rugby Hall has been a very successful community hall put on by the residents in that area, and it's great to support these things. So now we're on to consent agenda. Does anyone want one of the items on the consent agenda pulled, or? Seeing none, then Madam Clerk, may we have a motion to accept the consent agenda, please?
Moved by Lavoie, seconded by Shell. Be it resolved that the staff recommendations with respect to the item listed under consent agenda correspondence be adopted as printed.
All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that is carried. Item 18, bylaws. May we have a motion for the bylaw under item 18? Oh, sorry, my apologies. I skipped over one, Madam Clerk. Communications petitions. May we have the draft motion for item 16A?
Moved by Bard, seconded by Hutchison. Be it resolved that the correspondence dated September 12th, 2024, from Jody Lloyd, Chairperson, Simcoe County District School Board, collaborative efforts for safer school zones be received, and that staff follow up with DSB, and further that the matter be referred to the Traffic Safety Advisory Committee.
Okay. The council floor is open for questions or comments. Councillor Young.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I was glad to see this document report submitted. I know some time ago I approached the county in regards to the installation of overhead lights in front of Memorial School in Coldwater. There's a crosswalk there, and I thought it'd be ideal for the safety guard, or at least the crossing guard, to at least have a button where it'll stop traffic at that location. I haven't formally requested that be done at this point in time, but again, I was glad to see this, that I will put something in requesting it. I mean, it's no different than the recent community safety zones that were put up adjacent to Ramey Park, and I know we had some opposition or criticism of those, that it was too expensive. You know, and I say, how do you put a price on the life of a child? So my position is whatever we can do to prevent a child being hurt or seriously injured or killed, we should do, and that includes again the crosswalk in front of Memorial School. So thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Shell.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Greenlaw. Speaking to the school zone safety, I brought it up a little while back, and I don't know that it's gone anywhere. I don't see it in the report, but the Oro-Medonte school car parking on both sides of the road is impeding traffic flow in front of the school. I would like to see that no parking at all on the west side of the road where the school is, keeping that completely free of parking. We have a fire hall up the road we know of, and nobody can get through there at the end of the day when school's coming and going. If you're even a single vehicle, it's tough to get through there. So I think we need to deal with that for Oro-Medonte. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hutchison.
Yes, through you to Councillor Shell. Could you just clarify which school you were speaking of, Councillor Shell?
East Oro. I believe it was East Oro.
I'm sorry, I meant to say Oro, sorry, East Oro Public School, beg your pardon. Thank you very much. Yeah.
No. So yeah, no, and I believe that is sitting with CAO bins. That I believe that has already been communicated. So I know we're working. It is being addressed, and we also have reached out to county for some assistance in the school zones, as a number of our schools are on county roads and not on municipal roads, or in the case of which we're waiting for the lights that I hope will be installed before snow flies, because I know it's a process that gets caught up, it seems, but the Warminster crossing with the full set of lights. So any other comments? Deputy Mayor Lavoie?
Yeah, I only wanted to make a comment with regard to observation / concern that I've had for some time, which is the school bus picking up students on the southbound lane of Highway 11. And the bus won't stop on the side of Highway 11 because it's too dangerous, but the parents and children walk with their backs to the road in Highway 11 on their way to be picked up. To me, this is quite distressing. I can't see that something won't happen sooner or later, but I'm not sure how to address it. So I may put together some form of letter to go to the school board and to our traffic safety committee. This is on a 4-lane highway. After school, at least they're facing traffic when they walk back up, but it does seem like a very unfortunate situation, and there's no safety zones for them. So, thank you.
Thank you. Definitely a concern, and yes, no, if you can bring that forward to the traffic safety, and it's an Ontario road, right? So definitely something, because safety to our children is definitely priority number one. So, okay, any other comments at this time or questions?
Mr. Mayor, before we move to 18A, perhaps we could just go back to item 14 with respect to announcement regarding the budget process.
Sure.
Are you going to speak to it, or would you like staff to speak to that?
Would staff be?
It's the announcement regarding the 2025-2026 budget process and the survey, but I believe Director Hewitt can speak to it.
Director Hewitt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Madam Clerk. I believe all members of council are aware that we have commenced the 25-26 budget development process. And as part of that, we have launched a survey for the community to complete. It is available on our website. We've had great response to this stage, but it will remain open until October the 14th. So I did want to draw attention to the community that opportunity is there, and I would encourage them to complete at their convenience. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hewitt. And it is important, that everyone provides their input as we are looking for your guidance and input on these matters to best fulfill the needs of our constituents. Okay, so any further comments at this time? No? Okay, then we'll move on to, we have a motion for,
Yep.
for communications petitions, please?
Mr. Mayor, sorry, did we call the motion for 16A?
Yes, I think we did we not? You just need the vote now, correct? All in favor?
Thank you.
They're listening. It's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
May we have a motion for bylaw under item 18, which is the Ontario Land Tribunal OLT order, please?
Moved by Clark, seconded by Young. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2024-098 be engrossed by the clerk, signed and sealed by the mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any members of council, any questions or comments regarding this? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 19, may we have a motion to go into closed, I guess would be, that pretty much concludes the open stuff. So we'll go into closed now, if possible. I think I have a motion for closed.
Moved by Shell, seconded by Lavoie. Be it resolved that we do now go into closed at 3:45 p.m. to discuss litigation affecting the municipalities, solicitor-client privilege, official plan appeal, UC lands, acquisition, disposition of land, sale of decommissioned fire hall, 375 Line 11 South, Hawkstone.
All in favor? That is passed. We'll see everyone in closed, and then we'll come back out and finish the meeting off. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, we're live.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May we have a motion to rise from close, please?
Moved by Hutchison, seconded by Bard. Be it resolved that we do now rise at 4:41 p.m. and report on the closed session items 19C. George Vaudebancourt, Manager, Planner, Special Projects, Litigation Affecting the Municipality, Solicitor-Client Privilege, Official Plan Appeal, UC Lands. D. Yvonne Aubuchon, Clerk, Reacquisition Disposition of Land, Sale of Decommissioned Fire Hall, 375, Line 11 South, Hawkstone.
Thank you very much. May we have all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. May we have a motion for item 19C emanating from close, please?
Moved by Clark, seconded by Lavoie. Be it resolved that confidential report number DS 2024-114, George Vaudebancourt, Manager, Planner, Special Projects, and confidential verbal information presented by Jennifer Bigger, Russell Christie, LLP, re-litigation affecting the municipality, solicitor-client privilege, official plan appeal, UC Lands, be received and adopted. That staff proceed as directed regarding Ontario Land Tribunal case number OLT 24000455, UC Consolidated Companies.
All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Madam Clerk, and may we have a motion for item D emanating from close?
Moved by Young, seconded by Clark. Be it resolved that the confidential verbal information presented by Yvonne Aubuchon, Clerk, Reacquisition Disposition of Land, Sale of Decommissioned Fire Hall, 375, Line 11 South, Hawkstone, be received. That staff proceed as directed by Council.
All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And may we have a motion for the confirmation bylaw, Madam Clerk?
Moved by Hutchison, seconded by Young. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2024-099, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council meeting held on Wednesday, September 25th, 2024, be read a first, second, and third time passed, be engrossed by the clerk, signed and sealed by the mayor.
All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. May we have a motion to adjourn, please?
Moved by Shell, seconded by Bard. Be it resolved that we do now adjourn at 4:43 p.m.
All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much, everybody.